What is up with that story where David dances a little, indecently in front of those servant girls? I think there's more to the story than we learned in Sunday school. Hi, I'm Ed. Welcome to King's Cultural, where we explore culture from a biblical perspective. Today, we'll be looking at that time that David got his Patrick Swayze on and did a little bit of dirty dancing. There's a story in 2 Samuel 6 where Israel is finally bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. Everyone in Israel is rejoicing, there's dancing and trumpets and shouting. This may have been an even bigger event than my Mario Party bachelor party. David's out there handing out raisin cakes and other gross yet culturally festive breads to the people. He's wearing a linen ephod, celebrating with the people, dancing with all his might before God. And David's wife, Michal hated seeing him dance like this. In her defense, my wife would probably be mortified if she saw me dancing with all my might in public as well. Michal ambushes him when he gets back from the celebrations and offerings. She says, "Oh, how distinguished the king of Israel looked today." Shamelessly exposing himself to the servant girl like any vulgar person might do. So essentially,
Ew, David.
I think she may have been doing a little thing we in the biz like to call embellishing. David answers her, "I was dancing before the Lord, who chose me above your father and all his family." He appointed me as the leader of Israel, the people of the Lord, so I celebrate before the Lord. Yes, I am willing to look even more foolish than this, even to be humiliated in my own eyes. But those servant girls you mentioned will indeed think I am distinguished. So, what's going on here? Well, for starters, I think Michal definitely exaggerated the truth. She was very upset that David set aside his high kingly clothes for priestly robes. She's mad that David willingly humbled himself before the Lord, prioritizing his role as a worshiper of God over his status as a king. David understands that before God, he is not a king. He is a servant, so he will dance with the other servants. Michal was the daughter of the previous king named Saul, who was a wicked man who tried over and over to kill David, but ended up killing himself. Michal was used to the men in her life having a certain higher status and class, sort of bouginess about them, carrying themselves in a certain way. Except this story connects perfectly to something even her own father did. You see, years earlier in 1 Samuel 19, Saul looks for David trying to kill him. This is obviously a dumb decision, but Saul sticks to his guns and we can respect that. Saul sends messengers to where he's at, but they all come back prophesying. And if you're interested, stick around to the end of the video if you want to hear what I think they were prophesying. He does this 2 more times, and 2 more times they come back prophesying. Finally, Saul goes all Thanos and says,
"I'll do it myself."
Saul goes to find David, but the Spirit of God comes upon him, so Saul starts prophesying. At one point, he strips off his kingly clothes and laid on the ground for a day and night, proclaiming prophecy in front of a bunch of people, including Israel's sort of main prophet in those days. There's a crazy connection here when you see these 2 men each abandon their kingly robes. Before we get to that connection, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell if you're interested in exploring culture from a biblical perspective. David willingly stripped himself of his high kingly robes to dance before the one true king of the earth. And I think Saul unwillingly stripped himself of his royal clothes and laid on the ground prophesying against his will that David is the true king of Israel for everyone to hear. When each of them take off these royal clothes, David displays humility and Saul displays humiliation. I think this points to the day where Jesus comes back, where there will be some who were humble, placing their faith in him, and there will be others who will face humiliation for working against God. That's just my opinion, and all others are wrong. So really, all the dignified men in Michal's life were really just regular guys who can't hold a candle to the king of the universe. It's just that one of them acknowledged it and the other one didn't. If you like this video, make sure to support the channel by leaving a comment with your favorite obscure, maybe misunderstood Bible stories, and maybe we'll cover them in the next video.
Honestly, David? Ew, no, David. David, how long are you gonna be doing this?
Ew, David!
David? David, what is this? David, this is so awkward.